but I'm going to set my scale to 100. Oh! Oh my god, you can be tiny in Minecraft now. Oh, look at the size of the armadillo. Hello, I'm Toycat, and it looks as though Mojang must have been really prepared for the crab to win, because in this new snapshot, the armadillo was just added to the Java edition, but with one interesting twist compared to Bedrock, and they also added the ability to extend your block reach. What is the deal with two new snapshots that both released today? What new info does this give us about the armadillo and its earlier release date than 1.21, and did Minecraft actually prepare for the crab? Well, let's explore the last snapshot of 2023 together today before doing our analysis as always, because snapshot 23W51B released today, which is to say 2023's 51st week had a second snapshot. The first one had a crash in it they had to fix, and inside of it you'll notice some very familiar features, but in brief, this is an armadillo. It is a brand new mob that spawns exclusively in savanna biomes. If you sprint near them, they curl up into a ball, and if you look at them, they're either very ridiculous or very cute, depending on your opinions. Also, if you have a brush, you can brush them, which is the most amount of durability you can use on a single tool, getting just a few armadillo scutes per brush, and you can use these armadillo scutes with a crafting table. If you have 7 of them, that is. You can use these, oh wow, it uses even more durability on Java, but you can use these in a crafting table to make wolf armor, which can then be given to a wolf to give him protection equivalent to diamond horse armor, or in other words, about a 75% effective health increase. This is the brand new mob that people voted for at Minecraft Live. These are the same armadillos that were implemented on the Bedrock version of the game, not because they're not listening. We've had confirmation from Jappa that they are at least going to make some changes based on feedback, but instead because that is the version they prepared, and today is just when we're getting the snapshot. Very odd for a Monday, I know, but this means there is basically no differences between Bedrock and Java, except for one, because obviously when you brush an armadillo, you get the scute. You obviously get far fewer on Java, which is crazy. They thought that the number you got on Bedrock 6 was too high, so you get 4 over here. But also what's interesting is they didn't just make the armadillo scute out of thin air, but they also changed the name of the other scute. On Bedrock it's called just a scute, and on Java it's called a turtle scute. So there's 2 types of scute, and they are both labeled according to the mob, just in case the big color wasn't enough to get you there. And this is internal game logic too, so give @s Minecraft turtle underscore scute. Keep that in mind, as it's something that's quite important. Outside of the scute change, the Java snapshot and the Bedrock preview are identical in how they added the armadillo. However, they're quite different in what else they did. So the Bedrock preview added the /UI command, which allows you to remove certain UI elements, and the Java version added to its /attribute command, which if you've never seen it before, by the way, I only started playing around with it for this video. Interestingly, you can do stuff like change your health value so that you have, say, 100 hearts. You can do some really, really ridiculous values if you really feel like it. So have you ever wanted to have 420 hearts? Well, you can totally set your health to have that be your cap. It is ridiculous what you can do with Java if you play with things. However, they also added a brand new, I guess, variant of this command today, which is for generic.scale. I'm assuming this changes the size based on the name of it. It is supposedly meant to do that, but I'm going to set my scale to 100. Oh! What have I done? Okay, and you could do the opposite, I assume. So this is size 10. This is size 1, which I assume is normal, which means we can presumably also go to 0.1. Oh my god, you can be tiny in Minecraft now. Oh, look at the size of the armadillos now. This is terrifying. Sorry, I really wasn't prepared for how cool you'd be able to take this. So you can go presumably even tinier if you want to be. Not that I'm sure you notice much difference. But yeah, have you ever wanted to be short in Minecraft? Have you ever wanted to be the size of an armadillo so you could become friends with them? Well, this is an option now as of... Look at this is hilarious. I assume you'd also have to change stuff like your movement speed, etc. to make this work, but I want to play with this so bad, and I also want to know what the max scale is. 500 seems to be this big, but because I don't jump any higher, I get trapped on trees very easily. So pro tip, keep that in mind. If you are to do this, I'm hoping they have a jump version of this, so there's not jump height, there is armor damage, flying speed, follow range, step height. Okay, so we'll change the step height up to what do you think we should do? Like I guess change the step height up to 100. Does that seem logical? Yeah, I guess it does. Okay, so I take some damage when I do this, but I can be giant in Minecraft now. This is absolutely ridiculous. We also probably would need to change our movement speed. So generic movement speed base set, I don't know, just 10 seems fair to me. Oh no, that's too much. That's too much. Let's set that to like 3. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, it's very easy to die this way. And if you do die, you get set back to your previous size. Although I feel really big now. Is that just me? Anyway, speaking of things that make me feel big, this snapshot also includes a brand new attribute, as well as the size one, which was available in an April Fool's snapshot. And this brand new attribute is the ability to actually, if you look through here, entity interaction range and block interaction range. So I'm guessing that if we do the exact same thing, we'll be able to break blocks from further away. Right now, the value is presumably 1. Oh no, 1 is too low. So right now the value is presumably about 5, which allows you to break blocks from about that far away. This feels standard for Minecraft, right? But what if you set the base value to 6 or 8? Well, then you'd be able to imagine life with a crab claw, because look at this. I can break that door from all the way over there. Oh, wouldn't that be such an improvement? And because now it's an attribute, it's not just that you can make your own crab claw or believe that you've got one built in there, but also you could set this to ridiculous numbers like 80. And so now... I can break the roof of the villager's house over there. What's the furthest you can set this to? You know, okay, so let's see if we can break okay, so I can't break things beyond a certain distance. There is a max to just how much I can do this. But if you want to break leaves from real far away, you can totally do that. Something which actually might be useful for, you know, like half creative, half survival people who are like working on some stuff that needs them to switch. And I think that's really cool, personally. I also just think there's something about this which is oddly satisfying. But yeah, as you might have seen already, you can also not just change your interaction range, but also your entity interaction range. So this is presumably the range at which you'll hurt mobs. So we'll set the value to, I don't know, 100. And now I can punch villagers from that far away. Or the golem, indeed. Look at this. Yeah, golem, try and get me. Oh, you wanna do that? Oh, look how well that's working for you. Actually, is he coming towards me? But yeah, fun fact, you can now punch mobs from further away if you want to, via a command. And this is interesting because these two behaviors alone, if you set them to more reasonable values, I think 100 is probably a little bit unrealistic, but these two values alone give you the behavior if you had a crab claw that was always in your offhand, except you didn't need to use your offhand slot on it. I think that makes it incredibly handy personally, and so yeah, have you ever wanted to experience life like you have a crab claw? You can do so with commands. Personally, I want to know what it's like to try and beat Minecraft if I'm tiny. I feel like I have to play around with this at some point now. But yeah, this crab claw-like behavior makes many people question what exactly is going on with this snapshot. Why would they add something which is so close in functionality? And we'll dive into the speculation as well as the interesting truths on that later. But for now, let's talk about the interesting, unique thing about the armadillo in this snapshot. And I know you're thinking, is the scute being named different really that interesting? But what's also interesting is that this snapshot is for Minecraft 1.20.5, and it didn't include the armadillo and the wolf armor under a separate toggle like it did on the Bedrock version. This is interesting because at first it sounds like they're hinting it will be a part of 1.21, whereas the Bedrock version is less committal, but then if you actually look into it, it's not even behind any experimental toggle whatsoever. This does make the implication that Minecraft 1.20.5, i.e. an update before 1.21, will have the armadillo, and this is a really fun idea. Having these minor monthly updates actually include new features means that you can play around with them one by one, and it's something that they used to do in the old days of Minecraft. So will the armadillo be in 1.25 or 1.21? I would say right now it's hard to be 100% certain. This is obviously subject to change at any later point, and it could have just been a mistake to begin with, but it does seem like it's at least a possibility now that the next update for Java, as in sub-update, will actually have an armadillo and wolf armor, which would be the fastest they've ever implemented a mob vote mob, and even if you don't agree with the specifics on it, I think that's pretty darn cool. So now with that out of the way, let's do our analysis on everything that we've seen today, because you can find Minecraft news basically anywhere, especially on YouTube, but even Minecraft themselves put out full change logs if you ever want to just see what's in the update itself. But people come to this channel not just to hear what's in the update in an informative way, but also to hear my analysis on what it means for the game and the update more broadly, so let's move into that. To my eyes, the most exciting thing about this snapshot is that they added the ability to break and place blocks from so much further away, and the fact that this was so easy and ready to go just as a bonus to the armadillo might seem as though that meant that they were coding away on making the crab claw. Maybe Mojang, just like the rest of the community, were actually expecting a crab win, and so after doing some early coding, they realized, oh darn, we can't add this, but they decided to put it in the game as a command so that players could make the most of it. This is exactly what happened with the bundle. If you do do recall, the bundle is not coming to Minecraft in its current form, but because they got so far in the development process, they figured, yeah, if you want to enable a toggle, you can use the bundle in your world, rather than having to have a mod do the same thing. They figured, why not put it in the base game? And so maybe that's what happened with the crab. I do think, though, that if this is a possibility, it's unlikely that all of Mojang was making preparations and that there's a crab model somewhere out there, but instead that one developer was so sure that he was going to be assigned to work on the crab that he did the work early to get ahead of it or something, and so with all of that work in hand, he figured, why not add it to a command that already exists on the Java edition, bundle that with the April Fools, and all of a sudden you've got a much more modifiable game, which is indeed probably what happened here. Is it really that they have some grand plans to add the crab down the line? Well, I think it makes it a lot easier now, that's for sure. I mean, the code is only on the Java edition, there is no Bedrock equivalent, although the /attribute command would be amazing there, and so given that there is no equivalent on Bedrock, it still means that to add the crab, they need to record sound effects, they need to make a model, they need to animate it, they need to deal with the community saying that it looks dumb in its current form and it needs to be redone, but it is still entirely possible they add the crab, and now it is more likely than them adding, say, the penguin, or, I don't know, the vulture, or any other given mob, which is very good news. I think the sizable percentage of players who did want a crab claw in the game just wanted to have some additional survival utility, and that is something that Mojang could take directly and just add a crab claw to the game. They're not bound to not add the losers of the mob vote, but I think it's also a fun thing that they could take indirectly and say, oh, okay, if this is such a popular idea, then why don't we add more survival utility with 1.21? Because this is the last snapshot of 2023, and that means that now all of the 1.21 features that we know about have been implemented on both Java and Bedrock. There is a slight exception with the trial key, who knows what's going on with that, but right now every feature that we saw and that we were promised, if you will, in the trailer is in the game with a solid few months to go in the development process. Right now, this is the last week before Christmas, and so it's very unlikely that we'll see any brand new snapshots or betas before the end of the year, unless they're very serious about committing to adding the Armadillo to the game, and that maybe they're going to go through the pre-releases and get that update out right now. That would be a very cool holiday surprise, but it's very unlikely we get any major new additions, and instead what we'll see is a couple of week gap between now and the end of the year where, you know, everyone's working on their personal lives and, you know, living their best Christmas, as indeed employees are right to do, and then there's always a couple of week gap in the early new year where they're also kind of getting back into the swing of things, but sometime in the middle of January we'll start to see new stuff, either in the form of announcements. Last year they did that with 1.20 and the cherry trees, you might recall me announcing those as I was going down a mountain, a very snowy one, or they could do so in the form of a just straight snapshot where, surprise, here is a brand new feature. I think that there is a lot of survival utility, and especially combat utility, which they could really be putting their focuses on, but it's unsure right now if they know exactly what's going on next year, or if the first day in the office in 2024, they come in and they say, okay, we've got a few months left, what is the most important stuff that we focus on here? It always seems as though there's a bit of both, depending on who you speak to on the Minecraft team. Either the next 4 updates are perfectly planned, or every single week they work out what they're doing in that week based on the feedback and the capacity and how all of the teams are doing. It's hard to say for sure which is true. There's probably a bit of truth in both, but what it is for sure is that this update has one of the biggest deadlines, most important deadlines for an update ever, because the 15th year anniversary is coming soon, and I'm sure they want a big update for that, but that is all I can say for now, is that I am excited for 1.21. I hope that this is a sign that good things are coming, and the fact that they've done it all before the end of the year is very, very impressive actually, and gets me, you know, right now we have a great update 1.21, but how is it going in the future? That is something I guess we do have yet to ask, but yeah, that means that the brand new snapshots and betas will probably be taking a 3 to 4 week gap. In that time, I will be reviewing everything we've got in 1.21 so far, as well as doing lots of other fun challenges. I really want to do a tiny toy cat thing now, and also this week, the 2 inventory slot challenge, where I can't use 34 out of my 36 inventory slots. I'll give you a mild spoiler and say that I learned this week that actually the netherite ingots, which you might think are resistant to fire and everything in the nether, are actually not explosion resistant, and you know, that's a valuable lesson you keep with you forever. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I look forward to seeing you there this Friday. I have to say, I'm also very curious about the Universal event that is starting tomorrow. This is the first time Minecraft Bedrock has done something to promote something that isn't one of their updates or their games or their mob votes. This could be the worst or the best promotion ever, and it has Shrek riding in a taxi, so I'll be there, whether it's good or bad beforehand. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and have a merry last week till Christmas, I guess. That's why I've got to wear the hat even more. Anyway, have a good day. Goodbye. I'm going to do something temporarily crazy. Throw netherite ingots on the ground to pick up netherrack. And then just patch up that hole. Problem solved. Now I have to make sure I get them back. No, Goss, don't you dare! Don't you know!